Hey everybody, it's JC the Sniper again. If you've watched my videos, any, you know that I like blades. I like knives. I have a crap load of knives. I collect them, and I just have them coming out of the woodwork. I'm one of those people who has kind of the knife sickness, I guess, because I'm just constantly buying knives. You know, it's like, oh, I see one on the internet, and I'm like, oh, that one's awesome. I like that. I need to have that. Or I go to a gun show, and I come back with, 2 or 3 more knives that I just got. And I'm also one of those guys that carries large blades, and I carry tactical knives for defense. And I'm not, for me, this is an average size blade. 4 inches is pretty much my standard size blade. I'll carry smaller blades, but this would be, a 4-inch blade is like my standard. So basically, you know that I like these knives. And if you've watched my videos, you probably know, or you probably could infer that I watch Nuttin' Fancy. I don't take everything Nuttin' Fancy says as the gospel, but some of my early videos, especially people are always whining and saying that I sound like Nuttin' Fancy and crap like that. Not that I give 2 craps, but whatever. Anyway, I do look at Nuttin' Fancy's videos. I think he has, I think he does very thorough reviews on knives, and I think he has good opinions on knives a lot of times. And this knife right here is one that I picked up on Nuttin' Fancy's recommendation. He says that he carries an Aulmar Eagle almost all the time in his stupid little fanny pack, which I don't do, but whatever. And I looked at the blade and it looked cool, so I went out and got one. I got a pretty good deal on it. Aulmar is very proud of their knives, so sometimes they can be pricey. Well, pretty much all the time they're pricey, but anyway, I went out and picked up this Aulmar Eagle. Now, the one Nuttin' Fancy prefers is the one with the full flat ground blade. I don't like that one as much. I think this one looks a whole lot cooler. I just think that false back swedge makes it look pretty sweet. So basically, that's the only reason I chose that blade, was just because of the way it looks. Now, I got this in early December, so I've been carrying it for a couple months now, and I have to say that I am probably not going to agree with Nuttin' Fancy here, and I am not impressed with this blade. Don't get me wrong, I like it. It's a decent blade. If I had paid, maybe 40 or 50 bucks for it, I would be happy. But these things, I think MSRP on this one's like $200. I didn't pay that much. I got it for like $90, but still, $200 for this, I think it's a ripoff. And honestly, I think $90 for this is a ripoff. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit and tell you why I feel that way. So first of all, we'll get into it. The specs. One of the things that drew me in with this knife is its weight. It's a 2.4 ounce knife, something like that. Ridiculously light for a 4-inch blade. For the knife with a 4-inch blade to be 2.4 ounces, that's unheard of. And it seems impressive. So I like that. It's pretty cool. Normally I don't complain too much about weight, but it is nice if you're wearing a suit or something light, or you just want to be light for some reason. Maybe you're running or something and you want to carry a knife with you. This would be great because it's very, very light. You barely tell it's there. So I like this for suits and stuff like that because it's just very slim, very slender. It's not thick, it's unobtrusive. Got that black coated clip. It just hides very well. It rides very nicely. So that's a good thing. You got a full 4-inch blade, and it's very, very pointy. Good, excellent for making a stab if you need to. It has a little bit of belly, but not a ton, but decent for utility tasks. I've used a little bit for some utility stuff, and it's not my favorite for that kind of stuff because it's so long and the blade is so slender, it's kind of a little bit difficult to use for some utility tasks, in my opinion. If I'm going to do utility work, I'd much rather have, you know, my Endura. The blades are very similar in size, but the Endura, to me, is a whole lot more controllable. You can lock in good there. I just find this to be a whole lot more controllable for utility work than this blade here, because you can't lock in on top, some of those things. Now, honestly, I'm surprised that Nut N Fancy likes this for a tactical blade. Number one, there's no grip on this. This micarta is not grippy. It's very slick, and it looks probably in the video. It probably looks like slick plastic almost, and it's very slippery. Like it grips, you know, all right, but not to a degree that, not anywhere close to the Endura. Like I can actually push on the side of this and grip. If I do that on this knife, my finger slides, and that's not really what you want in a tactical blade. This little swell up here is about all that you've got to keep your hand from going forward on the blade if you were to make some sort of thrust cut. So that's kind of dumb, I think. Whatever. Now, one of the other things I'm not real impressed by, I knew this when I bought it, but you can see there, this is an AUS 8 steel blade. So, for comparison, my Columbia River M16 also comes with a AUS 8 blade. They're very similar in size. Almar's a little bit longer, not a lot. This blade costs significantly less than that one. Now the handle materials aren't as nice. However, it's stainless steel lined. You know, you get a flipper. It's got some features that I like. You know, for whatever reason, this one is significantly more expensive. Now they may say, you know, the micarta is more expensive. Maybe that's why. Maybe, but you know, I have other knives with G10 handles and micarta and things like that, and they still have decent blade steels. In my opinion, AUS 8 is a lower level knife steel. You know, a high lower end steel. It's not like crap steel, you know, it's not like some sort of 410 stainless junk, but it's just not that great. It's kind of soft. I don't find that it holds an edge all that great. If I have an option, I don't like AUS 8 for my blades. I'd much rather have, you know, the VG10 from Spyderco, or, you know, maybe something like the military, a CPM S30V. That's a really high quality steel. That's a nice steel. And seeing as how these two knives come at similar price points from the manufacturer, I would think that, you know, seems like you could get some decent equity there. Like how come I can get this? Yeah, I can pick one of these up for a similar price. I can pick one of these up. G10, micarta, CPM S30V steel, AUS 8. It's like, okay, something doesn't compute here. And there's a whole lot more steel in this blade, so I don't understand why that has to be the case. Nevertheless, that's the way it is. So, not really impressed with the steel. Like I said, the blade shape is decent, not great for cutting tasks, but it would be decent if you needed to defend yourself with it. The handle, it feels nice. You know, it grips okay. It grips pretty well. Now, I like the shape of the handle overall. I think it's very streamlined. It looks pretty neat. It grips nicely back here in your palm. You can do reverse grip pretty well. But like I said before, it's slick. There's no jimping up here. There's nothing to give you traction anywhere on the knife. It's just slippery, and that sucks. So I don't like that. The clip is swappable left or right, tip up, carry only. No problems there, because I like that. I like this clip. It's, you know, just a one screw clip, and it beds down in the material here to hold it. So I like that. Nice clip. It could be mounted a little bit higher, but I don't really mind that. I don't mind it sticking out a little bit. Because this is slick, it's not going to tear your pocket up. It slides in and out pretty nicely. There's no liners in this, if you can see. That's why it's so light. It's just straight up micarta. No liners are of any type. And of course it's a lockback. Probably not a very strong lockback because, like we just said, it's micarta. Deploys fast, you know. I actually kind of like deploying it. It feels pretty cool. So I enjoy that. I like it. Kind of nice that way. Now, this brings me to the biggest hit. I didn't go quite in the order I normally go, because normally I talk about lockup and strength. And as we just got to the lock, you know, I said it's probably not the strongest lock. It's back lock. Yeah, back locks are strong, but it's nested in straight up micarta. There's nothing there to hold it. It's just pinned into the micarta. You know, you get a little bit of metal running down the back spine, but that's it. So it's a back lock bedded in micarta. Now, here's the other thing. We'll see if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but there is both up and down rattle and side to side rattle in this. And to me, that's unacceptable. Number one, I'm a little OCD and I'm a little anal about my blades. But number two, this is a freaking pinned blade. You can't take this apart. You can't adjust it. You can't tighten it up. Well, if my blade's going to be pinned, you know, I don't mind that necessarily. I like them to be screw construction better because I can adjust it. But if it's going to be pinned, it better freaking be pinned right. It better not have all this play in it. And some of that play is just developed as I've been using it. But I think that's pretty weak. If you're going to do a pinned blade, do it like Cold Steel. The old Voyagers, pin construction. This thing, I've had this for a long time, and there is no play in it. It's locked up tight. So they did this one correctly. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know why Almar can't pin a knife right. But for some reason, Cold Steel can pin their knives and make them tight, and apparently Almar cannot. So that is my biggest hit on this blade, is it just doesn't seem that strong to me. And you know, if it were pinned tightly, if it were pinned up tight and it felt sturdy, I'd be a lot happier with it. The fact that it's loose and rattly, not very pleased with. So overall, it's kind of a cool knife. It's neat, very light. If you're looking for a really light knife with the 4-inch reach, this might be the one. However, you're going to take some hits in other areas. You're not going to get good grip on it. It's just not, you know, not that fine task oriented, and you're probably going to get a rattly knife because it's pinned and they didn't do a very good job. So anyway, that's about it for the Almar Eagle. JC the Sniper signing off.